Let's take a close look at another limited edition color by Schmincke, Ocean Grey. Hello wonderful friends, Schmincke came out with a few new limited edition colors last year, and I wanted to share them all to make your purchasing decisions easier. That's why we'll take a close look at the color, see how it reacts during the painting process, look at swatches, mixes, and just go in depth with this video. Ocean Grey was released last winter, but I couldn't get hold on it until recently. The color was designed by the artist Schmincke, and I hope I pronounced this right, who is a Schmincke ambassador in Spain. The pigments in the colors are PB29 ultramarine blue, PG50 cobalt turquoise, and PBK6 lamp black. Schmincke says it's a blue-green-gray granulating color with highest lightfastness. The color is semi-opaque according to Schmincke and is great to paint rough seascapes. Indeed, pigments that are used are lightfast, so I assume that the mix will be lightfast too. This was a color that has taken over most of my paintings during the last weeks, and you can actually see it in many or most of my recent Instagram posts. I've had immense fun playing with it, and it actually led to me experimenting with textures in my paintings. That's wild. Little disclaimer, the pigments that this color is made of are probably in all of your palettes already, so if you're not sure if you want to invest in a tube, try mixing it from what you have and you'll get the same results. Especially for mixers, this is always a good way to see if they work for your art and style, and whether you want to actually have a pan of it in your palette or just enjoy the mix whenever you want to. I feel like it's important to get this word out once in a while and take the pressure off everyone. The benefit of personal mixes is also that you can shift the color into a direction that you will need for your painting. Let's go back to the color. In the mess tone it looks like a grayish turquoise and is pretty opaque too. It has a nice creamy feel on the brush, a little like PR101 does sometimes, which is not included in this color, but it feels similar to me. It's easy to get an even look when the water is controlled well, as you can see in the gradient wash. But if there's enough water and you let the colors flow, it creates the most fun patterns. This was so mesmerizing for me that I actually painted several paintings with this color in the background just to see the fun reaction. A drop of water in the gradient wash led to an almost star-shaped pattern that left the cobalt turquoise exposed and pushed back the black pigments. The ultramarine is very subtle in the color, and I was left guessing if it's ultramarine finest that has been used there. It's mold finer and doesn't granulate as much, so this is totally possible. Even in the gradient wash, which appears fairly flat, the granulation is visible though. In the dispersion test, you can see that the color moves well and does create fun patterns when simply thrown on the paper, wet on wet. This really surprised me, but I love the effect and it's what led me to play with it more. In the painting I did use some salt in the background and it does create fun patterns, as you can see in the example. I do believe that it will work well with the gauze technique too, which I did not try as it's not part of my usual painting process, but usually granulating paints do well with this technique. In the transparency test, the semi-opaque character of this color clearly shows. I can see the cobalt turquoise pigments on top of the black strip. In full mass tone, the color is even more opaque. The color can be lifted, but leaves a turquoise gray stain on the paper, which is left looking dirty. And though it does lift, I don't feel like it's a technique that works well with this color in particular, due to the stain color that is left there. It's also not perfect for glazing, as its opaqueness will cover up the underneath layers, and if too much water or movement is used, will disturb it if it's the lower layer of the glaze. I did it a bit in the painting process to deepen the colors though. Today's painting is not monochromatic, as I did for the random grey review. I added Schmincke quinacridone gold to the warm areas and Schmincke sepia for the darks, as it was pretty difficult to achieve nice darks with the ocean grey alone. The color does also look great next to Pure 48, as you can see in my last video, where I have shown the simple postcard painting process. It's all part of me getting to know this color, its character and how it reacts. There's one last test I have to share with you, the mixing. As I do for these color portraits, I have mixed it with a primary triad to see how it does. In the mixes you can see that it muddies the colors due to the black pigment. I'm not a big fan of these mixes though personally. What do you think about them? How do you feel about this color in particular? I'm very curious to read about your opinions on it. By the way, you'll find all the swatches scans in the Ko-fi gallery, so you can take a closer look. You will also find the color in the watercolor database suncolors.com already. A tip on Ko-fi to support the channel and the database is highly appreciated. Thank you so much. So after playing with this color for weeks, I can say that it's for sure not a necessary one in any palette probably. The mixes aren't overwhelming, but it's a fun color to play with. I love how it flows in water and the effects it creates. For me personally, that is the biggest advantage of this convenience mix truly. I have found a place for it in my palette and will continue using it for backgrounds and just fun effects. If you don't want to spend the money, no problem. Just mix it yourself. It's pretty easy and you probably own the colors to do so already. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video. Have a wonderful and creative day, everyone, and I hope to see you soon. Bye!